In the last episode, I talked about that I lived in the country of Panama from the age of 2 to 4. I spoke of my absolute fascination with the jungle across from our home and how it opened up my view to the world. That I looked at the jungle as being the realm of infinite possibilities. This was on a dead-end street, and the street was often where we played, right in front of the jungle. The bravest thing the neighborhood elementary school-aged or younger kids could do was walk up and touch the jungle. I would do this any time someone would dare me. I was the only one. I had the admiration of the other neighborhood kids, as touching the jungle to them seemed absolutely crazy. For me, it was easy, and for 2 reasons. One, I had night terrors, or really bad nightmares nightly, and I thought nothing in the jungle could be as bad as what I faced in my dreams. The second was I had a fascination with what might be in the jungle. Touching it connected me to the jungle and all the mysteries that lie deep within it. I had thought there might be dinosaurs still lurking around, undiscovered animals, unknown civilizations, untapped knowledge, ancient peoples, hidden cities, ghosts, demons, and things unimaginable. I can remember the first time I touched the jungle. I touched and ran quickly away, as if by running away, whatever wicked thing that I was sure lurked on the other side of the blackness of the jungle would not be able to whisk me away. I also closed my eyes the first touches before getting too close to the jungle. I was concerned that something from the jungle might somehow, by looking into my eyes, steal my soul. I was sure early in my exposure to the jungle that evil manifested itself in the black of the jungle. Each time I touched the jungle, I got a little braver. After some time, I more and more wanted to enter the jungle and explore it. The jungle was more or less impenetrable, which was lucky for me. Otherwise, I might have stepped into it. A 3 to 4-year-old bushwhacking through jungle would likely face some unanticipated dangers and maybe not have survived. I wondered what things I might learn, see, and experience if I were to enter the jungle. No one went in or out. No one seemed to be interested in it. The other kids were scared of it. It seemed I was the only one who was intrigued. It then, in my head, became my jungle. In my young mind, I was sure I would one day explore it and other places like it. It is when I fell in love with the idea of prohibitive places. Mischief would easily find me as a young child. The neighborhood kids were the same. There was an enormous hive of hornets that hung low on the tree very close to where I lived. The neighborhood kids and I were intimidated by it, and it seemed out of place. We knew not to go anywhere close to it. One day, an 8-year-old and I uncharacteristically walked up to it. The 8-year-old dared me to throw a rock at the hive, and I am sure his dare was made, knowing I wouldn't do it. Without thinking or preparing, I did, and the rock placed a sizable hole in the middle of the hive. Immediately, there was, as I recall, a large swarm blackening the sky in the direction of the hive. It seemed that all the world's hornets at that precise moment transported themselves to that exact location. It was absolute war. I knew I had to run for my life. The swarm nearly caught me, but I was able to run inside our house. Just before I looked out the window and saw the hornets just outside our house. I half expected them to ring the doorbell and to tell my parents what I had done. Given the choice of getting in trouble or having to be stung, I would have taken the stings. However, the stupidity and inconsideration could have cost me my life. Such is the mindset of a 4-year-old boy. I would later learn my front yard jungle was connected to South America. That made it even more intriguing. I knew I was from the North, the United States, and I knew what that was like. But what about this place to the south? What might it be like? We at times took drives on Highway 1 through the jungle. This was the last portion of the Pan American Highway, and it ended at a town called Yavisa. This was the very ending of the north part of the Pan American Highway, which began in Anchorage, Alaska, 6,800 miles or 10,900 kilometers away. The southern part of the Pan American Highway begins 60 miles or 100 kilometers to the east of Yavisa in Tubo, Colombia. They were trying to complete the Pan American Highway when I was a little boy, but the area known as the Darian Gap, just to the south of Yavisa, for many reasons, does not lend itself to easy construction. This is a lawless place, a place to this day without paved roads and only jungle. I remember looking into the Darian Gap and being wowed. I was only 20 miles through the Darian Gap from South America, the country of Colombia. This was also about 100 miles from Medellin, which had been the capital of the Medellin cartel and cocaine trade. As I looked south, Pablo Escobar was beginning his criminal career in Medellin. He would virtually control the cocaine trade to the United States in the 1980s and 90s, becoming the wealthiest criminal in history, with estimates in today's dollars of being worth something like $100 billion. On our drives through the jungle, my eyes were glued to the window looking out. I was given a glimpse of the jungle, but it was only the edge. The Darian Gap, part of the Pan American Highway, to this day is incomplete, without any plans to move forward. The southern part of the Pan American Highway extends over 6,000 miles, nearly 10,000 kilometers, from Tubo, Colombia, to Ushuaia, Argentina, the southernmost city in the world, which I have visited. I had, as an adult, considered hiking through the Darian Gap. It is one of those things, if I had extended my earlier trips to the point in which I could have been endorsed and gotten book deals, then I would have done this. I am not sure if I would have done it alone, or perhaps I would have needed armed guards to accompany me. I have to this day traveled most of the 13,000 miles or 21,000 kilometers of the two portions of the Pan American Highway. In some of the next couple of episodes, I will continue with my developing intrigue of South America through my elementary school years. Please support the channel by subscribing and liking. YouTube sends this on to others based on this. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next episode.